Good morning, YouTuber family. Jonny Cashflow here. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hope your day is going well. I just wanted to reach out and chat with you guys a little bit more, tell you guys a little bit more about my story. Obviously, there's a lot of different areas that we're going to go into in terms of the 5 year plan, building your cash flows, building your assets. Most of us are going to be in that season of life where we are needing to build our assets, whether you have 10,000 in the bank, 100,000 in the bank, or a million in the bank. You're not yet at the cash flow level or the asset level where you have the ability to step away from your day job, your small business, and you're on the hunt, right? And so, as somebody on the hunt with all of you, with all of us, and looking to build a community around people understanding this knowledge, I want you guys to know a little bit more about my history, my background, who I am, and kind of just where I come from. And yeah, one of the tips of advice in starting a YouTube channel was to tell a story. So I figure I tell you the story of how all this came to be. Um, so it was somewhere between 14.3 billion and 28 billion years ago. There was nothing, nowhere, and no time. And then there was light. No, we're not going to start there. We're going to start about 16 years ago. And for me, my it's kind of a weird starting point for my story, but when I think of where my entrepreneurial journey and story begins, it really began with watching the movie The Secret. If you're not familiar with it, it came out. The book may have came out in 2006, but it came out in a DVD in 2007. It's a fantastic movie. It's 90 minutes long. You can probably watch it on YouTube. Actually, I know you can watch it on YouTube because I watched it recently. But anyways, the Secret is an amazing movie. It's about the law of attraction. It's understanding that we are a dream in God's mind. We are some type of quantum physical representation. If you don't want to call it God, the many worlds theory of physics postulates that every existence that can exist, will exist, does exist currently, right now. And so any future you can envision for yourself, your president, your rock star, you're a business owner, you're in Tahiti with your cash flow, 20, 30, 40,000 a month, whatever it is, whatever those dreams and the numbers all work out to, all those moments exist right now, somewhere in the universe, right? And that's one of the big, I'm very into quantum physics and reality and spirituality and how that all relates to finances and growing your legacy and your wealth and your assets long term. But yeah, so understanding that the knowledge that's in The Secret was a very pivotal moment for me, understanding the many worlds theory of quantum mechanics and physics and what it implicates. It implicates that any future reality you can envision for yourself already exists. Should you envy that reality? No, because in that reality, they may think of your reality and say, man, wouldn't it be nice if I was that version of myself? So, seeds of comparison. Don't it's the or comparison are your seeds of demise. Don't compare yourself to anyone else, not even yourself in another universe. Um, Compare yourself only to your past self in this universe and your progression, right? Success the is the progression of a worthy cause or goal and a progression towards that worthy cause or goal, right? So that's what we want to be focused on. So again, can't say it enough. The Secret, you should watch it. It was amazing. It was pivotal. That same summer of 2007, after I saw The Secret, I went to Austin, Texas. I was planning for 17 years of my life to be an engineer because I love the idea of building something, building legacy. It's all kind of related. But yeah, I was going to be an engineer until I was 17, very into math and science. And I went to University of Texas. I met some entrepreneurs, And long story short, a lot of the entrepreneurs out there that I met had the fruit on the tree that I wanted, which was control of time and money. And whether it was a small business, a big business, digital business, a music business, I met several different types of entrepreneurs in several different industries. And that really shifted my gears toward being excited about entrepreneurship. That's where I went to the University of Miami. I studied entrepreneurship. Um, Backing up a little bit, actually, a year after watching The Secret, I won the opportunity to be on, actually accomplish one of my greatest dreams. When I was 16, I watched Russell Simmons presents Brave New Voices, or I watched Russell Simmons Deaf Poetry Slam, and I thought, man, if I could be on HBO saying poetry. Next year, I watched The Secret. Next year, there was a competition for 5 people to get on the team for Russell Simmons Presents Brave New Voices, represent the Fort Lauderdale team in the International Slam competition. And I actually won second place in that slam poetry, which was across the Tri-County area, in order to be one of the, I think, 8 teams that HBO followed around for 3 months leading up to the International Poetry Slam Festival. So that was amazing. That was a lot of fun. That I have a DVD of that documentary that we did. So that was amazing. I love slam poetry. That was an incredible dream that came true. And it showed me that the law of attraction, there's something to it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't always work the way you want it to, but they say God always answers. It's just not always a yes. So for what that's worth. But that if it's God's will, whether you're a rich man or poor man, that's Gazula Tov. It's all for the good, is the concept. But so that was an incredible experience. Went into college, went into studies in entrepreneurship, management, music business. Studied that at the University of Miami. Launched my company Studio 120. Competed and won in multiple business plan competitions. I also won a few slams in college, but that's not relevant. Business plan competitions and also pitch competitions that I won with that company. Built that company and ran it for about 5 years, managing artists, promoting them on my independent music website, developing tours with those artists. So that was a big fun adventure. When I got out of college and, I was continuing to work on my business, but needed a day job to pay bills. So I joined a company called L&E Consulting, which is actually an umbrella office of a contract negotiator called Sidcor. So what Sidcor does is they go to AT&T and they say, hey, AT&T, we have these marketing offices. We're going to represent your product. So I represented AT&T for about a year. I represented Comcast for about 3 years when the contract changed throughout the South Florida area. I literally pitched in every zip code. There's probably, 70 zip codes in South Florida in the Tri-County area that I, business to business pitched and closed hundreds of businesses over those years. I reminisce about it because it was a lot of fun. I built a lot of relationships. I developed into a management and executive level position where I was running teams as large as 30 people. That was a fun experience, learning how to train, learning sales, learning working with people. And then I did the car business for about a year. I had a baby. That wasn't going to work. So I got into the recruiting industry. Big reasons I got into the recruiting industry. At the point I was looking at what my next step was from the car industry, I had already known for years, 3 or 4 years, that what I wanted was control of time and money, right? Make $100,000 a year, live anywhere I want in the country or the world, and not need a day job. That was the goal. So I needed a business building job. I needed a job where I could work remote, potentially. If I couldn't work remote, then I wanted to be able to be in an industry where I could duplicate my efforts. Recruiting is one of those industries because I can hire 100 contractors to work at a client, and I get a portion of commissions. The company gets, a portion of income, kind of a markup on every candidate that's working. So you can duplicate your efforts hundreds and thousands of times over in the recruiting industry. That's what attracted me to the industry. A similar thing happened, as I was getting into the recruiting industry, I also knew that real estate was of interest to me. I got my real estate license. I've had rental properties. So, I've had that exposure in buying, selling, renting, real estate. And obviously, all through that journey, all through my 20s, I was also investing in the stock market. One of my biggest early wins was with Netflix, the first time that they increased prices, and everybody freaked out and they thought, "Oh, it's the end of Netflix." This was in 2009 when the stock was like 12 cents or something. It wasn't a penny stock, but it wasn't what it is today, which is a monster. So that was a good call. That was a good little nugget. But I kind of say all that to say that this has been a long journey. 16 years that I've been in the hunt. Obviously, I still have, God willing, many years in front to be able to impact the world, impact people, impact my family, impact my finances, impact my legacy. But I've always been in the hunt. I've been in the hunt for a long time. I have always been seeking out people who have fruit on the tree that I want in my life. What is fruit on the tree? Well, with the fruit on the tree is, if I love apples and I want an apple orchard, well, then I need to go to somebody who has a successful apple orchard, right? So I don't want to go to somebody who has orange trees. I want to go to an apple orchard. What does that mean? Okay, well, if I want relational advice, right? And the apple orchard guy has the greatest relationships in town with his wife, with everybody. Well, then I'm going to go talk to the apple orchard guy, right? So think of it's a metaphor, it's a parable. I love those. My homeboy Jesus Christ spoke in parables. Again, if you're not spiritual, I don't mean to like turn you off to the channel. Don't freak out. Don't run away. Okay. All right. I'm just saying Christ and other spiritual figures, many leaders all throughout history. Let's just say that. Okay. Spiritual, political, whatever, cultural, many leaders all throughout history utilize parables in order to relay messages. And the reason is because parables are one of the most powerful ways to communicate. So yeah, I was always looking for people who had fruit on the tree in areas of life that I wanted the same success. I convinced them to mentor me. I found ways that I could add value to their business or what they were doing. And it's the law of reciprocity. If you put out good value, it will come back to you. You need to have faith. I think that's one of the biggest things. And whether it's just faith in your vision or faith in a higher power or plan in your life, whatever that faith is, it needs to be strong. It needs to be bigger than you. It can't. It needs to be something that you can be committed to, something that you can get behind for the long term. If you're not committed to it, then you'll just do things when they're convenient. If you just do things when they're convenient, you won't build long-term success in anything. The hardest thing to ever build in any building is the foundation, right? And so I look at, I'm not gonna age myself, but these last few decades on this earth, it's all building foundation. And the way exponential growth works is that if you have a very strong foundation, you can build a skyscraper very quickly. It might take it might take 2 years to build all the plumbing and the foundation and to dig out a place for the skyscraper to go. But then you build up a skyscraper in 6 months, and people say, where did that come from? Aliens dropped it down? They may have. But if they didn't, then it was just that they built an incredible foundation. It was under the surface. Nobody saw it coming because, hey, they've just been digging a hole, or they said they were building a building. I don't know what they're doing. They're building a strong foundation, and that's the most important thing. And that's what I would encourage you to look to do in your life, in your business, in your investments. And yeah, so I hope that was impactful. I love you guys very much. I thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, if you didn't, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, even leave a comment about how much you didn't like it and why you didn't like it and what you would like me to talk about instead. Because I'm open. I'm not, this is a democratized platform where we can have a conversation, and that's really what I'm looking to do and build and grow and do with all you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about where this perspective is coming from, that it's not just well, I read 6 John Maxwell books and now I think I can take over the world. And it is a long, slow build. I do still believe I can take over the world, but I do know that if I want to, I don't have aspiration to take over the world. I have aspiration to impact people, give glory to God, whatever impact that I'm able to have, because I believe that there is a greater thing, energy, force, presence that holds this whole existence together and makes this all possible and real. And I think that's part of what I hope to awaken people to in these conversations that I have about finances. As weird as that sounds, I hope people see that it's a lot more. It's about a lot more than dollar signs in your bank account. So I love you guys. Have a great rest of your morning, day, afternoon. I don't know when you guys are catching this, but enjoy the rest of whatever you're experiencing. Have a good night. See ya.